What Peter goes on now and shows us is how to do that. What way should we grow? How should we add to our faith? And it's really interesting because in the first 4 verses, God gave us 7 things for our salvation. I told you what those were. Now in these next couple of verses, 5 through 7, he's going to give us 7 other things that we're to add to what God has given to us. That we're supposed to bring those alongside of our salvation and grow in these 7 different ways. So let's read it. I'll read it for you. It says here in verse 5 through 7, add to your faith goodness, and to goodness knowledge, and to knowledge self-control, and to self-control perseverance, and to perseverance godliness, and to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness love. Now all those words that I've highlighted, you might want to circle them, because those are the areas that he says that we need to grow in. This is how you develop the character of Christ and become more like Jesus, by adding these things to your faith. Now, I want to illustrate that passage for you. And I brought a friend with me to help me with that. I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Skellington. Say hi to Mr. Skellington. Hi. So, I want you to think of the things that we're going to look at today as muscles. Now you can tell that Mr. Skellington doesn't have any muscles, does he? And if I was to just drop him, what would happen? He'd fall, wouldn't he? Why? Because he has no muscles. What is it that holds you together? What is it that keeps you falling to the ground like a sack of muscles, or a sack of bones? What keeps you from doing that? Your muscles. Believe me, I know. I've collapsed several times because of bad muscles in my knees. Took me right to the ground. If you don't have muscle, you're going to fall. You can't stand. And think of these things that we're going to look at this morning as the muscle that holds our spiritual life together. All right? Now, Mr. Skellington, he goes into the bathroom in the morning, he looks in the mirror and he says, I don't have any muscle. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and said, what happened to all my muscles? Have you ever done that? Come on, be honest. How many of you ever done that before? Sure, sure. You know, I turned sideways and I said, oh, there it is. I found them. So what do? You know, you don't have the muscle that you used to have, so what do? You go to the gym, right? I need some more muscle. I need to get, stronger. So we go to the gym, and what happens when you go to the gym? You find your muscles. Right? You find them because the next day you can't get out of bed, you're so sore. And for the next week, you're dying because your muscles are so sore. And here's what I want you to know about the things that we're going to talk about this morning. If you don't have muscle, this is what you look like spiritually. You're just a skeleton. How many of you want to get into heaven looking like that? Not me. I want to be better looking than that when I get to heaven. You know what I'm saying? So you need to add some muscle to your spiritual life. And the things that we're going to talk about today, those are the muscles that you add. And you have to work those muscles or you don't have them. You lose them. And here's how you can identify somebody with character. I mean, just somebody walking down the street. You look at them, you say, I don't know if they have character or not. I don't know if they're a person of character or not. They're just walking along. You don't know if they are a person of character and are like Jesus or not. I mean, they could be an axe murderer for all you know, right? So what do? The only way you can know if that person has character or if you have character is when you work it out. That's when you know you have character, because you see it develop. You see it mature. You see it in action. And that's the way you know you have muscle. So every single one of us, we've got muscles, but sometimes we look at ourselves and say, it doesn't look like it. So we try to work it out, and then we realize, oh, yeah, there's that muscle again. I realize I've got that muscle now. Now it's back. The only way you're going to realize you have it is to work it. And that's what you have to do with these 7 things. You got to work them out. You've got to develop them every single day. Does that make sense? Yes. All right, say goodbye to Mr. Skellington.